On this wheel here, there are 8 strengths, and the way that Sources of Strength identified this for the pamphlet is that they surveyed hundreds and hundreds of young people and asked them what helped them when they were going through a really tough time. And in those hundreds of responses, they were able to boil down 8 commonalities between all of the responses, and that's what makes up this wheel. So we're going to talk about that. I founded SiOV in 2015 to help people who, like me, were struggling with the experience of coming out of the closet, but also to help my greater network of peers who were struggling with the stressors and anxieties of young adulthood. We began as a community organization that gathered people together to learn about mental health, talk about those issues, and decrease stigma. Over the course of the next 3 years, that vision expanded. We are now driving towards large-scale public health change, shifting perceptions of mental health and improving the resiliency of young people in the DMV. Our program is radically different from conventional suicide prevention in that it is strength-focused, not risk-focused. While it's incredibly important to identify risk factors in young people, that limits us to the people who are already at the point of intervention. This leaves out so many who fly under the radar. One example of how our process is different is our use of hope, help, and strength messaging rather than sad, shock, and traumatic language, which is more common in conventional suicide prevention and mental health trainings. And then you 3 TP. Look, 3, look, oh, we're all in. Caterpillar! Huddle! TP! Young people often see images and language like suicide is the 2nd leading cause of death among young people 18 to 25 years old. That language is more triggering than helpful. We risk young people identifying with that population that's at risk rather than identifying those 9 out of 10 people who went through a tough time and got better.
Where conventional suicide prevention is adult-driven, Sources of Strength is student-led. There are very real codes of secrecy between young people and adults. And many schools have a student-to-teacher ratio that makes it difficult for adults to identify risk factors early enough. By empowering youth to drive change, we can improve wellness and save more lives.
Today I just learned that a lot of the students at the school are open to having conversations that aren't necessarily easy ones to have, and it's conversations that I wouldn't have known I could have with a lot of these students until I saw them here today.
A lot of people that came today, and I just thought that was really inspiring to see how many people want to help others.
I struggle with depression, anxiety, and then I didn't know that one of my friends was actually going through it too. So it was just nice being able to relate and to talk it out and knowing that I can come to him now for anything that's going on in school.
One thing I found surprising was that there's 1 in 8 people are isolates, and I thought that was really surprising because I did not know there was that many people who didn't have a friend in our school. And that just made me want to help people more.
So after today, I think I'm going to try to be more sympathetic and kind of break down those preconceived notions I have about what some people are going through so that I'm more sympathetic, so that when people do express those feelings, I'm prepared and understanding about them.
One thing that surprised me was how many people were willing and open to talk about what they dealt with mental illness-wise. Me personally, in the past, I've dealt with anxiety and depression. And I kind of figured I'd be an outlier in that, but a lot of people were willing to open up and talk about that.
Every student is energized with an understanding how their behavior, their actions can impact the world. Peer leaders then return to empower and activate their networks. In this way, each peer leader we train become agents of change in their own network. Since 2016, we've seen an increase in help-seeking behaviors, and I've heard so many anecdotes about recovery during moments of hopelessness. We've also seen parent-teacher involvement blossom. Imagine a world where every school in the community receives this kind of training. A world where every community has these protective factors built into the system.